Hi, welcome to How to Repair. In this video I'll be showing you how to dismantle a Beko WMB71642W. Not only are we going to be dismantling the machine, and you will learn everything from changing a pump to replacing the drum, we are going to be showing you exploded diagrams of the machine, how best to rectify problems on the machine, also common faults that can occur on the machine and how best to rectify them. Now, I'm actually dismantling this machine for parts, although the machine is in perfect working condition. The reason I'm dismantling the machine is because the manufacturers have built in obsolescence yet again. The bearings on this machine are gone, in other words noisy, and you'll hear them in a second. And because I'm not able to access the bearings to replace them, I have to replace the whole drum. This makes it uneconomical to repair. So I'm going to be using this appliance as a demonstration on how to gain access to all the components and give you tips and tricks to save you money, not only on where best to buy the parts that you need for repairing your machine, but also the process for replacing any components, and I'll talk you through all the common faults that can occur on this machine. Okay, as you can hear, the machine has just built up to a couple of hundred RPM, and already the noise is starting to become deafening. This is the front bearing that has gone on the machine, and because I can't replace the two bearings and the seal on the spider, which is the shaft that goes through, I'm having to dismantle this machine for parts. Okay, first things first, empty the machine of any clothing that may be in it. Also, disconnect the machine from the power supply and disconnect it from the water and drainage. Okay, the first thing you want to do is remove the back panel. This is Phillips screwdriver. Next, you want to remove the lid. This is Torx 15, sometimes can be 20, depending on the model of the machine. Tap the lid, slide it backwards. Lid will come away. Okay, the first thing we'll deal with, as we've got the machine round this way, is the heating system and the motor. I'm going to take the motor off first to get it out the way. To remove the belt is easy. You just pull the belt towards you while turning the drum. If you wish to put the belt back on, line it up on the pulley, hold the belt and twist the panel, but be careful of your fingers because these edges are very sharp. Once the belt's on, line it up, making sure that it's in the middle of this pulley, and you can do that by rotating the belt onto the actual alignment on the actual pulley wheel on the motor, and then as you do a rotation it will either come further towards you or further back. To remove the motor is straightforward. Unclip the motor harness, and then you have to remove 4 bolts. There's 2 at the back, which I won't film, and they're awkward to get at. You will need a quarter drive socket set with a Torx screw. Now the Torx on this are the larger Torx. I can't remember the size, I think it's about a 30. Holding the motor from underneath, I've got a hook screwdriver which is able to prise the motor towards me. You might have to use a flat blade screwdriver. So bringing this towards you, then the motor will come away. I'm able to drop that down. Now the motor will be available for sale on the website under used parts. This has good carbon brushes because I fitted this motor in a previous video when I was showing you how to rectify a washing machine that has a ticking noise from the armature. This has got good carbon brushes. There is another video on the website to show you how to replace the carbon brushes. If your washing machine is not turning, then you may have a problem with the carbon brushes, or possibly a fault on the circuit board. But normally it's worth inspecting the carbon brushes. These are available on the website new. Okay, next we're dealing with the heating circuit. If your washing machine is not heating, or it is tripping the electricity supply, or can on occasions be boiling the water when it shouldn't, then you may have a problem with either the heating element or the NTC sensor. And I'm quickly going to show you how to test these. I have done 2 previous videos. The reason I'm using this is it's got a locking tab. 2 previous videos on NTC sensors and also how to test elements. While I'm doing that, I'm going to cut this cable tight because I'm going to be removing the drum after. Washing machine is not heating. This can be a problem with the circuit board, the NTC sensor, or a problem with the element. The element may have gone open circuit, the NTC sensor may have failed, or the circuit board relay may have failed on the main program. Now, the other faults that can occur is you're tripping the electricity in the household. This could be because the element has gone to earth and therefore become faulty. Another fault that can occur is your washing machine may be overheating, and this could be the NTC sensor at fault. Now, I'm quickly going to show you how to test elements. Now, we know that this element is approximately 1950 watts at 230 volts. By setting the multimeter to ohms reading, I'm quickly going to be able to test across the element, and I have a value of 26.5 ohms. This means, using the Ohm's law calculator in the description below, you would be able to enter your resistance value in ohms with the voltage, and it would calculate what the wattage of the element is. We know this element is a 1950 watt. Now, to test elements towards earth leakage, you would have to use a tool called an appliance tester or a pack tester to know the insulation level on this element. It's sometimes known as a mega or insulation tester. Now, we would be able to test between that, two probes, and the earth to work out the value. I haven't got one here to show you, but it's not a tool that everyone would own at home. But if your washing machine is tripping the electricity supply, then this may be the fault. Now, when it comes to the NTC sensor, it's a much less resistance. So I'm going to have to set the meter on 20k resistance value, and I will check across this. And I've got a resistance of 5,770 approximately. This changes as room temperature changes or the water inside the machine changes. The resistance value will change. You can see all about this in another video. Now, to remove the element is straightforward. You need a 10mm socket or spanner. Undo the nut until it comes all the way to the end of the threads. Then knock it inwards. This releases the pressure off the seal. Sometimes these are very difficult to get out, and you need to prise both sides and pull it towards you. This one came out reasonably well, and as you can see, the element is in perfect working condition, and that will help someone out no end. Okay, we've moved around to the front of the machine now, and there's many components that can come off. On this machine, the front panel comes off, so this gives you easy access to the door seal, the pump, and other components. On some models of Beko machine, the actual front panel is spot welded on, so it does not come off, but that will be in other videos. So the first thing you might want to change is the door seal. The front panel would have to come off. Sometimes you can do it without, and you can just lift the spring, take the spring all the way round, and then peel the door seal back. This is really needed to be done for any repair with regards to replacing the actual door seal or access to the door lock, which is another area. If you want to get at the pump, you can work at it from the underneath of the machine, but really it's easier to do it with the front panel off. So I'll show you how to do that. But the first thing I'm going to do is remove the whole door unit, and I'm going to sell this as one piece. 2 screws. There's other videos that I have done with regards replacing door handles, door hinges, and on this door you can see there are many screws all the way around the machine. And once you've undone the screws, it just lifts up and comes away. If you need to replace the door handle or the pecker unit or the door hinge, you will have to undo the screws. On some machines it is possible that there are no screws, and that means it's a plastic fit, and therefore you'll have to undo the plastic fits around it. But there are many videos on the website showing you how to do this to assist you in replacing door parts. Next, I'm going to remove the door interlock. 2 screws, putting your hand behind it, undoing the 2 screws. Then the door lock will slide out, and you will need to undo the plug on the bottom of the door lock. and that just comes away. That's a perfectly good door lock. Now we need to remove the facial panel and the kick strip. The kick strip is straightforward. Just undo the flap, one screw inside on this machine, and you might need to use a thin screwdriver just to prise it away. There are 3 screws holding the facial panel, or the front panel, sorry, on the front of the machine. But first we need to remove the actual soap box. Pressing the button down in the middle, the soap tray will come out. And then hidden in here are 1 screw at the top and 2 on the very top of the panel. These are not always magnetic, and they are tricky to get out because sometimes the screws are made of aluminium. To remove the panel now, just press on these 2 top clips, one there, and there's usually one on the underside. We can now take that away and remove the wiring. To remove the wiring, quite straightforward, little clips that you press down, see on the back here, just press them down to release them. And then the facial panel and the control board will come away. Now to remove the facial panel, undo 3 screws at the bottom first. Holding the panel, undo the top 2 screws. The panel will lift up and come away from the 2 lugs on the back. At this point we can remove the door seal. Just tuck the wiring out of the way. Go under the spring, and then the door seal will come completely off. Now that I've got all the front off, I would normally show you how to change the pump, but what I'm quickly going to do for ease of filming is remove the 2 concrete blocks on this machine, because they have to come out really for me to take the drum off. I'll just do the same with the top. To remove the pump is straightforward. Just undo the electrics, pull them away. Then you've got a couple of clips on the pump that hold the waste hose, and a bit of water came out. And there's also another clip on the sump hose. Now I've mopped up the water, we can remove the pump. 3 screws at the front. Pump twists and will come out. And you just need to undo the pipe clip at the bottom. That's a perfectly good pump. Now I'm just quickly going to remove the sump hose and explain something about this. If your machine has not emptied in the allocated period of time, or the machine has coming up with an error and unable to empty, not only may you have a problem with the pump and you need to inspect the pump is turning correctly and everything else, you also need to inspect the sump hose. Now I've done many videos on pumps and everything else. This has a ball inside it which floats and stops the washing powder when a wash starts coming out of the drum and lying in the hose. But what actually happens is baby clothing or small items of clothing can actually get lodged in here, and this can cause a problem. But that's a perfectly good hose. When it comes to the pump, you've got your normal filter system, and you want to actually inspect the actual impeller inside, that it's turning freely and there's no bits of coins or debris inside the actual pump which can inhibit it actually rotating, and that can become a problem as well. I brought the machine down to ground level now so I can actually easily film the top for you. The water valves, if the machine is not filling in the allocated period of time, you may have a faulty water valve. Again, I have other detailed videos on how to test water valves at the website. Another thing to always check is the filter at the back. Make sure there's no blockage in that, and make sure you have a good water supply going to the machine. Apart from that, you just need to test on a hot fill. It will be using one water valve, or main wash, it will be using one water valve. On the other water valve, it will be there for rinse purposes and conditioner. To remove the water valve is straightforward. You just need to use Phillips screwdriver, undo the screw that locks it in place. Then you can push down the lug on the far side and rotate the valve towards that direction. Then the valve will come out. The wiring again has got two catches. And then you have a couple of clips which hold the pipes in place. Sometimes it's a good idea to use a small screwdriver just to get down underneath the seal. And once you've started them, they will come off easily. That's a perfectly good water valve. Now we need to remove the soap drawer. Okay, now we need to remove the soap hose and the soap drawer. So we've just got one screw here. I'm also going to undo this screw because I'm going to take the metal bar off, because I have to take this off anyway. And then the metal bar will come away. The soap drawer, one screw on the top. The soap drawer will come away, and you can see a little hook on the hose. Lift the hose over that and the drawer can come away. To remove the actual hose, screw at the bottom holding the band in place, loosen that off, and there we have a perfectly good hose. Another common problem that can occur with these Beko washing machines is sometimes there's too much water going into the drum. In other words, the water level is too high. On other occasions, you may have a drum filling up overnight. Now, there are two problems, or two reasons this can happen. One is your water valve is not shutting correctly, meaning that you might have some grit or dirt inside the water valve, or the water valve is worn. As I said, you can see other videos on this at the website, but you want to make sure that when you connect the hose to this, there is no water coming into the soap drawer. The other reason why your machine might not be filling to the correct level is the pressure switch. Now, the pressure switch is connected via a hose, which you can see here, and this goes down to a pressure bowl at the bottom here. If you use too much comfort or conditioner, or you do not do a maintenance wash on the machine occasionally, this can block up with dirt and detergent and comfort, and all sorts of material can clog this area. If the air pressure that is created in here is not correct, therefore it will be giving the pressure switch a false reading. To remove the pressure switch is straightforward. Just one screw at the top. The pressure switch will come away. The electrics have just got a little clip that needs to be lifted up, and the harness will come away, and the hose is just a push fit. Do inspect this hose. This hose sometimes can chaff, and when I say chaff, if you look carefully there, I can see some wear on the hose, and this means that the hose may have been rubbing the casing or might have worn against the actual printed circuit board edge here and actually caused a perforation in the pipe. This would allow air to escape, meaning that the water level would continue to rise. On this washing machine, it has a motor module. This is a DC module which converts the AC to DC for the motor. And sometimes if you leave the carbon brushes wear too much, it can damage the motor, causing the motor to short and blow the circuit board. In my previous video on this very machine, I actually did a video which had a faulty motor. The motor was ticking and causing it to arc. Therefore, it had taken out the circuit board, as well as I had to replace the motor. To take the circuit board off is straightforward. One screw at the top. Unplug the harness, and if you need to remove the PCB from its holder, that's in the other video for you. Now we're actually ready to remove the drum from the actual casing, and it's pretty straightforward. There are two suspension leg holders at the bottom which needs to be undone, and I normally use a pair of pin nose pliers, go behind, and I'll do a detailed zoom in of this, but the pin will come out. Once the pins come out, you're able to press down on the casing and remove the insert. The pin goes in here, from the back, goes in here, and as the pin goes in, it spaces the plastic clamps onto the mountings. To remove the drum is straightforward. You just need to lift the drum and take it off the springs, and then we'll quickly have a look at the electrical filter, which will be the last item. I'm just going to put this in like so, just so I can use my hoist. Taking the weight off the drum, I'm able to remove the two springs from the machine. In the back here you have the electrical filter, and this electrical filter is the suppressor cum filter, and it basically filters the electricity coming into the machine. There's just a 13 mil nut on the back of that, and that's a perfectly good electrical suppressor or filter. Two springs now can come off the machine. The waste hose is just held on with a clip. A pin at the back which undoes the clip that holds the hose in place. And there we have the bare carcass on the machine. I hope this video helped you. We only have the drum paddles to take out of the drum and the suspension legs off the actual drum. The drum is waste, as I said, but this whole box of parts can be reused. They're all in perfect working condition and will really benefit some people who want to keep their machines going and stop this built-in obsolescence. Thank you very much indeed for watching this video. Please remember, we have hundreds of tutorials at the website to assist you in all types of repairs, and we also sell new and used parts now. Thanks very much indeed for watching. Remember to hit the subscribe button, and if we really helped you, you can always click on the Buy Paula Beer page. Thanks very much indeed.